I want to express something, but I don't know what it is. It's unformed. So hopefully I can form it. I think everything's like that. I learned quite recently in books on artificial intelligence and neuroscience, I learned that we think what we want to say, and then we make the words, and then they come from our mouth. But I think that's completely wrong. The words come from my mouth before I think about them. I don't know where they come from.
Depends on personality.
Depends on the personality. And how much alcohol. And so on. Many factors.
I think it also depends on the situation, because both are possible. Sometimes the words are coming automatically, if it's easy situation, and sometimes you really need to think.
Yeah.
So I think both versions are possible.
Well, maybe. If people say they don't know or they don't understand something, in Western culture they become very worried or very enthusiastic to know what it means. So for instance, I just said I don't know where the words come from, and immediately two people explained to me where they come from. But my experience is completely different from your explanation. So your explanation is like a kind of comfort. Don't worry if you don't know where they come from. I will tell you they come from here. Okay, now I feel happy. Now I'm chanting strange Japanese. I don't know what it means. Okay, go and read the paper. Now you know what it means. Okay. Now this is peculiar to Western culture. You probably don't believe me. You probably think all human beings are like this. But it's not true. Only we are like this in the Western culture. Western culture means the culture that developed from ancient Greece with the Greek philosophers, and then Christianity. When Christianity met idealistic philosophy, they merged together and the world constructed a way of understanding reality, which was so deep that we don't know that it's there. And we can't believe there may be another way. One result is that we have to understand everything. Of course we have to understand everything. Everybody says, of course, we have to, it's important. Is it? What difference does it make? Well, I feel happier, and so what I want to say is, part of what I want to say is, this is peculiar to Western culture. For instance, this is a very simple example. In Japan, calligraphy is very popular. Writing with a brush, and you see beautiful. If you take a Japanese person to an exhibition of calligraphy, I've done this. I say, what does it say? This is a Japanese expression. It's beautiful, isn't it? there is no need for them psychologically to understand. Now, it may be difficult for you to believe what I'm saying, but I'm saying it from very long experience. I lived in Japan for more than 25 years, and I speak fluent Japanese. I also believe it's the same in China, because the languages are the same. The languages are not linear and they're not explanatory. For instance, in Japanese and Chinese, there's no singular, no plural, there's no articles, there's no endings to words. So a sentence can have many meanings. The Japanese expression for "would you like a cup of tea?" There's no you, there's no would, there's no there's just cup of tea. So that's a very simple example. I met this situation many times, and I'm still meeting it, because Japanese and Chinese technology and science is very advanced, and they write many scientific papers, and my job is to edit the scientific papers. But in their language, it's very difficult to explain something clearly, and it's not important to them. If they know it, I know it, so why do I have to explain it on the paper? If you want to know it, talk to me. So now it's changing, of course, but maybe 100 years ago, if you bought a car in Japan, 100 years ago?
70.
Maybe. Or if you bought, say 50 years ago, if you bought some technological product, there's no explanation in the book. When you buy it, they tell you how to use it. Finish. The situation in the Western culture is completely different. We must know, we must understand everything. It's deep inside us. If we don't understand, we feel something wrong, something empty, something unfulfilled. So we search. And that's great, because it's the reason why we have science, technology, medicine, biology, blah, 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 blah. At the same time, our need for meaning has destroyed our peace. Because peace is to stop looking for meaning. Terrible thing to say. Jordan Peterson would probably throw something at me. But I'm older than him, so I had more experience than him. I just didn't write many books. Why does search for meaning destroy our peace? Because it makes us think. And as soon as we think, we can't just be. Just be. You can see it in Zazen. Maybe you experienced today some 5 minutes of peace. Maybe 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute. Or maybe tomorrow. No thought. The brain doesn't stop, but there's no thought. If there's no thought, as long as we don't try to understand it, it's fantastic. Oh, I wasn't thinking then. Oh, too late. So, the reason for our excellent culture is also the reason we lose our peace. Of course, we don't lose it. We lose it and then we find it, and we lose it and we find it, and we lose it and we find it. So everybody's day is losing their peace, finding their peace. Losing their peace, finding their peace. Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, finding it. If we lose it and we don't find it, life becomes terrible, stressful. We forget there is something like peace. I'm using the word peace, but I don't know if it's the best word. But I don't know what word to say. Contentment. Not happiness. Oh. Quietness. Stillness. Stillness inside, not stillness outside. But we can find it in the middle of action. So in the middle of dancing, there is stillness. In the middle of swimming, there is stillness. In the middle of running, there is stillness. There is a still place. So we can find it again with our actions. But we can't dance all day. We have to go to the office and then we lose it again. But this is much more severe in Europe and America than in China and Japan. Believe me. Things are changing, of course. Young Japanese, Chinese people coming maybe up here now. Konnichiwa. Tourists. So they are becoming, and they have smartphones and internet, and so everything is becoming based on thought. Everything is based on thought. This man has written this excellent book. It's paper, thick paper, then thin sheets of paper, and on it there are little black marks. And when you look at those black marks, in your brain, some thought is generated. Then that thought becomes alive. That's all it is. If we watch a smartphone and we look at a YouTube video, what we're watching is small colour on the back of a piece of glass. That's all. Everything else we invent here. So you can see how powerful our culture is. We put coloured pieces of glass and we look at them and we have this fantastic experience. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Does it have meaning? Does it have meaning? No. Does it have meaning? Yes. So, of course, I'm exaggerating. But what I want to say is it's very, very difficult. It may be impossible for Western people to notice how possessed they are by ideas. I'm not criticizing, because those ideas produced everything. However, those ideas also take away our peace. So we have to find it again. So we find it in sport, in music, in blah blah blah. So, of course, I can't not talk about Zazen. In practicing Zazen, it doesn't matter how peaceful you feel, or how much your legs are hurting, or how your back is stiff. You can notice the fact I'm talking about. That we have so much idealistic activity and then a little bit of peace, then loads of it. And we love it, we want more of it. If it stops, we want to make it go again. Nobody's talking, let's have a conversation. Say something, don't sit quietly. Another example, in Japan, in an important business meeting, you can sit and say nothing. And you have equal position. Nothing, you can just say nothing, just... You can make noises. Maybe you experienced it, some people, I don't know. I think usually in the West, in an important business meeting, this guy hasn't said anything. Oh, what's the matter with you? You know, because silence. Silence means nothing's happening. So, that's what I wanted to say. I didn't realise. Really, I didn't realise. So.
Can I ask?
Yes.
What about the differences in Japanese culture and our culture? Their discipline in work. They're able to, or they work like, I don't know, 20 hours a day. And they committed suicides in corporations.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that? Or how?
That's not good.
Yeah, I know, but is it also something with what you just said?
Yes and no. Because Japanese people don't need to understand as much as we do. If you're a boss, you tell me what to do, I don't need to understand why, just I do it. When I first went to Japan, I found this was crazy. So for maybe 3 or 4 years, I felt, these people are crazy. They just do it. Then I noticed that while I'm thinking about doing it, they already did it. So I'm here thinking, okay, maybe I should do that then, and then next I do that. And they're down there. They did 3-4 things. That's good. It's great. On the other hand, it means that you can tell me what to do, even if it's not good. So it's a hierarchy. So in Japan, society is hierarchical. People up here tell people down here. People here tell people down here. And people say, "Hai," which means yes. It also means, yes, I do it. Hai. Okay, I do it. And they do it. So for business, it's fantastic. On the other hand, because those people in Japan started to understand Western culture, they don't like it. So young people become frustrated, especially young women, because usually in society women are more open. Every society, usually. And Japanese young women are more open, so they come to Europe for their holiday or something, and then they go back and they don't like. They have to do what their boss told them, blah blah blah, because usually their boss says, "Make me some tea, make me a cup of tea." Boss smoking, says to the woman, "Make me a cup of tea." And the woman was in Europe last year, and she says, "Huh? Make your own." So the system is breaking down. But up to now, it's been fantastic.
For men.
For men. Yeah, so women changing it. Yeah, and men will follow, as usual. In Buddhism too, I told you yesterday about instructions for Zazen. If you go to Japan, they tell you how to sit. You have to sit here. And this Japanese monk, Isho Fujita, wants to teach people to have agreement in their body. So not my head is telling my legs, keep still. Or my mind is telling my body, sit straight. But something more natural from inside. And so Japanese Buddhism became like that. So the good side is if we have a retreat like this in Japan, everybody's helping here, everybody's what can I do? Everybody doesn't sit like this, you don't sit like that. I once sat like this in front of my teacher. My teacher didn't care, but another Japanese man said to me, "Don't sit like that in front of your teacher." So I didn't. So in Buddhism, it's been great because everything is very smooth and efficient. On the other hand, it became stiff, rigid. So Zazen became stiff, rigid. Retreats became stiff, rigid. Everything. So there's two sides. And you can see it because I lived in Japan and I learned about retreat in Japan, you can see it in these retreats. Why should I be telling everybody? Why don't the dog tell people? Why do we have to chant So maybe some of you, when you came in the beginning, felt, oh, why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do that? In Japan, people don't ask why. They say, when you go into the meditation room, you go up to your cushion and you bow. Hi. And then they practice. And they say, my hand should be like this, or like this, or like this. And you say, no, like that. Thank you. So this is the culture in Japan. The culture in Korea is very, very similar. Culture in China, more free because they had a big revolution. But for me, the most important difference is, in Western culture, ideas are at the very top, main priority. And in Eastern cultures, ideas are somewhere else. They move. I think this is more realistic if you can put your ideas up or down. Yes, I want to know, but it doesn't matter. Maybe tomorrow. Or well, so our search for that state of peace or wholeness is very difficult in Europe. It's very difficult for us. It's very difficult to find it without wanting to know it. We want to find it and we want to know we found it. I got it. And then I want to understand what it is. Oh, you say reality is in front of us. So where is it? I want to know where it is. I want to see it. No. It's here. It's here. It's here. Yes, but where? No, here. So it's very difficult for us. Really it is. It may be almost impossible. And as society becomes more and more based on ideas, many books, many very, very brilliant people writing ideas about how to live, how not to live, how to work, how to be happy, how not to be happy, how to be successful, how to be rich, how to live without money, how to live without food. All ideas. Okay? So I wonder, maybe it may be impossible for us to find the peace which the Buddha found under his tree. I noticed it by accident. I didn't go to Japan looking for peace. I went to Japan as an engineer for a job. And by accident I noticed, So for 10 years I fought my Western person. Talk to each other, they don't plan, just said for 10 years. And my wife, I married a Japanese woman, was very frustrated by me. So she said to me once, "Are all Englishmen like you?" I said, "I don't know." Strange. Well, I am strange, but that's another problem. So what I want to say also is, what I'm talking about is very subtle. So if you want to understand it, and if you want to see it, don't cover it up with ideas. It's not about ideas. If you listen to what I'm saying, or you practice what we're practicing, don't try to understand anything. Just, it may be very uncomfortable, but just leave it. If you go into the forest in the night, it's dark, okay? Or if you come to the toilet in the dark and you can't see, if you try to see, it's worse. But if you stop looking and just walk like this, you can find it. You can try it in the dark. Dark vision is better when you don't try to see. Even anybody who's been in the forest or mountains in the dark, you know that it's almost like you're seeing with around your eyes. But as Western people, we want to see with our middle of our eyes, straight into our brain. But it doesn't work with what I'm talking about.
It's interesting that Christianity we consider usually as Western tradition, but I had a look into the book of your friend, and you come across very often these Christian mystics taught.
Yeah.
Don't try to understand God. If you understand, it's not God. So they also seem to
They're
have
right about God. Yeah.
But also they teach, do not try to understand everything. So that aspect is in Christianity, but it's not
In
so common.
mystical. Yeah.
Yeah, in mystical Christianity.
So the title of the book is Seeking the God Beyond. Beyond. That means beyond our power to understand. Oh, terrible. What do you mean we've got to look for something we can't understand? Crazy. So, yeah.
And it's difficult for us, but we do it every day. When you eat soup or fruit, you don't understand what you're eating. You just have experience. So we do it every day, but we don't notice that we do it, I think.
Yeah.
We don't notice that we can feel happy without understanding.
Yeah. We don't notice that what we're looking for is already here. We're already doing it. But instead of noticing it, we cover it up. Like that.
Yeah.
So everything is already here. Here is the only place anything is. But where? No, here. Where? Here. What? That's not as... That's what my idea is. No, it's not your idea. Oh. But I had the idea that there's some kind of special situation. No, there's just this situation. What situation? This situation. Book and a table, all these people. Susanna's drinking coffee. What do you mean? That's the reality that people write about? That's where God is? Can't be. Must be better than that. Must be more beautiful than that. Must be more mystical than that. The angels, music, and so we do, don't we? We put angels in the church, that big church in Prague, with all gold, little babies. So this is the idea we have to have. So God is there, peace is here. It's here, but not this here, no. But beautiful here. So let's make it beautiful here. And we do this in our mind with everything. It can't be here because I don't like it here. Yeah, sorry. This is only here that exists. This here is the only here that exists. There is no other. This minute is the only minute that exists. There isn't another one yet. Oh, strange bloke. I'm going to read another book about something else. Oh yes, this book's better. This book says if you stand on your head for 3 hours a day, then you can get a very beautiful state. I'm going to try that. So this is our human situation. Well, the audience are leaving.
Do we have still time?
Pardon?
May I ask something? Do we have still time?
Yeah, lots of time.
I would love to know something like some basic guidelines, something like Zazen for Dummies.
Oh,
Because
there's only Zazen for Dummies, there's no other.
Exactly. And I'd love to know more about lifestyle, because it's not so difficult maybe to have 20-30 minutes per day for Zazen. Living in the city, we need to embrace this in a certain kind of lifestyle, which is useful for Zazen. I remember just a few months ago we met in our partner school, Trinity School in New York. There was former rabbi of Commonwealth, Jonathan Sachs, and he had a speech
Very nice
there.
guy. Yeah.
He had a speech, and he said that with my family, instead of celebrating Sabbath as an escape from tyranny of Egypt,
Yeah.
we are escaping right now the tyranny of smartphones.
Yeah.
So he saes there is no screen day
Yeah.
for one day in a week. So
Yeah.
that's something what I would love to know more bit.
Yeah.
This lifestyle which is embracing Zazen, something which is manageable for dummies in the city,
Yeah.
who are living their busy days.
Yeah.
So can you say a little bit to lifestyle?
No, I mean, Jonathan Sachs is a fantastic guy. He can explain how to live in a way that people understand. I don't know what to say really. My lifestyle is becoming simpler, but I'm not making it simpler for some purpose. Just I don't need so much. You know what disturbs your life and what doesn't disturb your life. Everybody knows. But for instance, we like to be excited. So we look for excitement. So stop. It's not so easy. So we know what to change, but it's difficult. So I can't really give you any advice because I've been struggling myself for so long. But I think you can find your own way. And if you hear Jonathan Sacks or other great people, you can recognize if they say something, yes, 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 and then do it. But really, I'm only one Englishman living in Radeckralva. But I don't know what to say really. But I think you know what to do. You have a feeling. What is making you stressed? Because you're choosing it, actually. We're choosing our life. Just we don't notice.
That's definitely part of it, is this smartphone tyranny, this
Yeah.
idea that you have to be first to know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yes, very, very powerful.
If you are without iPhone for one day,
Yeah.
you miss a lot.
Yes. And some, of course, is important. I mean, there are many very good benefits from technology, smartphone. Very important. We can keep in touch with our family, for example. That's important. On the other hand, you know, people in the train, or, you know, so we have to find our own balance. So, nobody told me how to live. I wish they did, but nobody did. But I kind of found a way. I don't know if it's a good way or not. It's sometimes chaotic, sometimes not so happy, but it's a way. So I think we have to find our own way. Even I tell you to do something, I'm not you. And I think you know what to do. If you can notice. So, for instance, practicing Zazen every day is an opportunity to notice ourselves. You can notice your feeling. Oh, I don't want to go to work. Okay, you don't want to go to work. Right. How much you don't want to go to work? Every day this week. Okay, then. Change your job. Oh, no. Because the mortgage and my car and my wife. You know? I can't change. Trap. We're all trapped. But we know. Underneath we know. I'm not really happy here. But I don't think about it. Then if I don't think about it, maybe it disappears. No, it comes back again. So Zazen is also a period where we can notice these feelings. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing. Well, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. Okay, so then if you notice you're feeling like that for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then you know. Maybe you don't want to change something, that's okay, don't change. But you can notice. We can always have choice. We can change something, we can put up with it. What's the third one? We can change it or not change it.
Ignore.
Ignore it, yeah. So we're free. So freedom is not to have no problems, but freedom is to be able to choose. That's all. I hate this job, but I'm going to do it for another month or another year, or I'm going to do it because my children, or whatever. That's okay, that's fine. That's freedom, if we choose.
And strangely, my experience is also that these typically stressful situations, like you're looking for a parking place in the center of Prague, or having to go
Booking
to
a ticket
and
to
so
Pezinok.
lots of people are aware, and it seems like this is not a Buddhist life, or this is not peaceful. But when you really when you are balanced, you practice Zazen in the morning. Then when I drive and have to deal with these usually stressful situations, I enjoy it actually, because I can just try to do my best, find the place, and it's like a game, so it's not stressful anymore. If you feel balanced before. But
I don't know if I'm balanced or not. I know there are many people, I know people who are much more balanced than me, who can much more easily choose, okay, left or right, up or down, it's okay, fine. So for me, it's a learning, always learning. I see, okay, not such a big problem. Don't make it a big problem. For example, I often make things small problem, I make it a big problem. It's me.
sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But it's not a big problem, so I have to learn. Not a big problem, Michael. Don't get so upset. But like, we can't avoid stress if we live in society. But it's okay. So we have to learn. So we have to learn, because the world, life makes us learn. It forces us to learn. Whether we change or not, I don't know. Maybe we had conversations about change before. Actually, I don't know how to change myself. But some strange way, I guess I must have changed. So it's nice to say it's the grace of God. It's nice. I don't know what else it is. But for me, slowly, my life is becoming simpler because I stopped needing things. When I lived in Japan, I wanted to buy all the latest technology, small gadgets and everything. So I would go shopping before I went to the Buddhist meeting. So when I came to the Buddhist meeting, I always had a bag with new technology inside. Put the technology down and then sit. But I suppose my life is becoming simpler, and I'm just trying to keep learning about myself, because that's all there is, really. I can't change the world, but I can maybe learn to change myself. And for me, for some reason, Zazen is the center of that for me. It's a period where I stop giving priority to thinking and follow something. It doesn't matter what we call that something. We can call it God, or we can call it nature, force of nature, or so there we are.
The Brett Warren had some comment about lifestyle
Yeah.
somewhere, like if one wants to practice Zazen every day, maybe twice a day, whatever, then he can't get drunk every day or something because he can't see Zazen,
Mm-hmm.
or have some excessive behavior in other ways. So he would be like disturbed
Mm-hmm.
or wouldn't even see Zazen.
Mm.
Something like that.
Mm.
So no alcohol.
Not
No.
no alcohol, but not
Well,
heavily.
I drink. I like wine, but you Zazen, you can drink. You can be drunk and practice Zazen. You can have sex and practice Zazen. You can get angry and practice Zazen, but it's very difficult if you're angry to sit. But it's not difficult if you're drunk. It's difficult to keep like this, but you can be happy, you can be sad, you can be Buddhist, you can be Christian, you can be anything. It doesn't have any judgment at all. It's not something religious. It's just sitting, trying to find peace. Is one way, one expression. Dogen writes very beautifully. It's a gate to happiness, oneness with the universe, and wonderful expressions. But actually it's just sitting on a cushion. So we stop now, because it's time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.